if you look at yellow, those are the energy companies. Energy is also a key input to this. So depends on if your energy or your utility is in the right spot and with geographic location where the data center build out is taking place. Then also type matters, right? If you're wind or coal, right, not doing so great in 2025, but if you're other sources of energy, you're seeing that bull market pull from the demand side show up in equity prices. And that's number 6, GE Vernova, which is the energy spinoff of the GE corporate restructuring. Number 7, NRG. Number 17, Vistra. And number 25, Constellation Energy. So being in the right market, having the right types of energy supply, those are key for equity performance. But they're riding on this big trend that the blue highlights. Those companies, they're piggybacking on that same trend. Then the other ones, just before I get into the key one that I want to get to, what's not there, logistics companies. So Uber at number 16, DoorDash at number 19, and eBay at number 24. If you think about it, all that these companies are is tech companies that are just attached to the movement of goods, like real physical goods in the economy. So for Uber, it's either people or food for the most part. DoorDash, it's food. And then eBay, it's just secondary market transactions like of new or used goods that are shipped through the mail, like US Postal Service, UPS, or FedEx, who noticeably are not on this list. But what would you just call it? Like the digital design of logistics, those 3 in purple are actually like by those pulling up. That's in my read on this, the fact that the market's saying there's value there, the real movement of goods is actually tied to that big trend of like the movement and processing of information that is really everything in the blue lines, right? But at the end of the day, everything we're doing with AI is just gather a bunch of information, and instead of having your 20-year-old young analysts, crank through this in Excel, we're getting better and better at processing this so that, yeah, we'll still hire some of those 20-year-olds, or employ some of those 20-year-olds in that task of taking information from raw into higher value forms. Now we've got tools and infrastructure to do that much cheaper, but also in infinitely larger quantities. And then your purples are kind of where the real world kind of rubber meets the road in terms of things or the physical elements kind of moving to where they need to be in that whole design. So that's how I'd read that strong performance this year from Uber, DoorDash, and eBay. Well, I think the dog not barking here. Why is Amazon not moving? So that's something Cameron, myself, came from Amazon. I think that's an interesting one is Amazon's performance lately. It's fine, but it's a bit of a laggard. That's something I would call out as a deeper dive. And I know back in the Amazon days, if we were seeing this type of result, measuring ourselves versus competitors, which is what Amazon consistently does. They don't focus on competition. They focus on the customer, but you constantly benchmark yourself against competitors. We would have had a deep dive on this from our executive leadership down to our roles where we were sitting in the company in our 20s, right back in the day. So we're looking at you, Amazon. Watch that one closely, and we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll talk about them in more depth on a future weekly roundup.